afternoon, everyone. Mr. Richard Graham, Prime Minister's Trade Envoy to the ASEAN Economic Community, Mr. Kevin Watts, Chairman of the UK-ASEAN Business Council, esteemed colleagues in government and the diplomatic service, our partners from the business community, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am pleased to join Mr. Kevin Watts and Dr. Liam Fox in welcoming all of you to this afternoon's forum. Allow me first to thank the UK-ASEAN Business Council for organizing the ASEAN at 50 Business Forum. I also wish to acknowledge the support of the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the Department of International Trade, and the Trade Envoy for ASEAN, Richard Graham, in putting this event together. May I speak on behalf of my ASEAN colleagues when I say how deeply honored we are that you are shining the spotlight on ASEAN in this manner to celebrate our 50th anniversary. Thank you for this expression of partnership. The Philippines is honored to be the chairman of ASEAN this year as we cross this very important milestone in the history of ASEAN. The theme, Partnering for Change, Engaging the World, reflects the Philippine government's advocacy to promote unity with and among ASEAN member states and its global partners. We are in a world where many of us are facing a changing landscape, whether by choice, by necessity, or by fate. This brings much uncertainty, and this also calls for a lot of resilience. In choosing the theme, Partnering for Change, Engaging the World, for the Philippine hosting of ASEAN this year, we emphasize the need for ASEAN member states to strengthen our partnership as we face the challenges of the changing internal and global landscape. And as we strive to strengthen our ASEAN economic community, we also stress the importance of an outward-looking ASEAN that is more deeply engaged with the rest of our partners around the world. From the 5 founding members in 1967, or 50 years ago, we have now grown into a strong ASEAN community of 10 nations, forging partnerships with the rest of the world. We are now one community with one shared identity and one vision. And in our hosting of ASEAN this year, the Philippines has adopted the thematic priority of, and I quote, inclusive, innovation-led growth, close quotes. The Philippines and the rest of the ASEAN member states remain committed to making ASEAN work for the entire region and become a significant player and a reliable partner in global trade. As we celebrate the 50th year of the establishment of ASEAN, I am delighted to say that we have much to be proud of. We saw the ASEAN Economic Community, or AEC, officially formed in 2015 as part of a dynamic process of and commitment to regional economic integration. We achieved this in the context of 10 member states in varying stages of development. The numbers speak for themselves. ASEAN is now a US $2.55 trillion economy, the 6th largest in the world. Our GDP is expected to grow by 4.8% in 2017, the same rate of growth that we achieved in 2016. Last year, ASEAN trade in goods and services stood at US $2.86 trillion, of which intra-ASEAN trade had the biggest share. Inflows of foreign direct investment reached $96.7 billion US dollars last year, with the EU being the largest source. To ensure that this momentum of growth continues, the 49th ASEAN Economic Ministers meeting, held last month in Manila, achieved key outcomes and commitments that will serve to deepen the integration of our services trade, contribute to seamless trade through trade facilitation initiatives, facilitate better flow and protection of investments, and expand further our market base with our 6 trade partners under the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. All these efforts will only serve to make ASEAN a more progressive market collectively, providing each of its members a clear path to sustainable growth and prosperity. We are, after all, committed to an ASEAN economic community that is inclusive in its approach to development and global and connected in outlook. Truly, the UK businesses should not and cannot afford to overlook the opportunities in ASEAN. With a growing market of 630 million that is becoming more and more affluent, I urge you to make ASEAN a key part of your growth strategy. We have seen several proofs of concept to demonstrate successful ASEAN-UK partnerships. I believe some of these companies are joining us this afternoon in the panel discussions. You will then hear for yourselves where the opportunities are and how they can work for your respective businesses. I do hope that through the presentations and discussions that will follow in this afternoon's programs, you will get a better perspective of why and how ASEAN provides you a clear path to grow internationally. Allow me once again to thank all of you for being one with us as we celebrate 50 years of ASEAN. Let us all work towards a stronger and more fruitful ASEAN-UK business partnership. And as you all navigate a world full of uncertainties and opportunities, I invite you to go where the growth is. Go ASEAN. I wish you all a good afternoon. Thank you.